Welcome into the Michigan basketball post-game live show. Michigan victorious over Tarleton State, 72-49. And we're ready to talk about this one, and in an eventful day for Michigan sports. And the nightcap is Michigan's basketball team taking to the floor, looking for their fourth win on the season, and they end up getting it over Tarleton State, the Texans. And, Michigan, when you looked at this one, this was going to be a W, you would think, no matter what. When you look at Michigan as being the heavy favorites in this one, fifth game of the year for the Maize and Blue. The Texans, Tarleton State, the opponent coming in, and the visitors over a 30-point underdog in this one. But you look up and they had the lead with 6 minutes left in the first half, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. But then Michigan, it went a little spurt close to the half, 11-2 run. And at the break, Michigan was up double figures, up 10, 40-30. And then it looked like Michigan was just going to hit the gas in the second half and cruise to this one. This is not what happened, though. Michigan did get up by 20, 5 minutes into the second half. But then they cooled off. And I was just listening to Dusty May afterwards. He said that the Texans mucked it up. And, Michigan lost their offensive groove a little bit. They end up winning it by 23. Not a lot where you're going to sit back and complain about, but, there's going to be some things that they want to do better. The focus in these first 5 games has been the turnovers committed by Michigan. And in the first half, they had 7. And if it wasn't a problem in the first 4 games, you would say, they had a couple more turnovers than they wanted. But since it's something that if you're watching all of these games and every time you see a turnover, it's a little bit of a groan and you're saying, why can't they get better? Everybody's saying, they're playing together. At what point are they going to get better? At what point are they going to stop coughing it up? And they did a better job in the second half, like they have done this season when they've had an inordinate amount of turnovers. In the first half, they've come out in the second half and valued the ball way better. 15 overall in this game. I would still say, you're going to want to do a little bit better than that. It's not one way that they're turning it over. They're turning it over in like every which way you can turn it over. The sloppy ones where they're just like because they want to play at a quick pace. We all know that. And so when you get the ball, it's not sticking. You get the ball, you are either driving or you're passing like that as soon as you get it. And, so it's going to take that little adjustment and knowing your teammates. That's the thought. But when you're playing quick and you want to get extra possessions, you want to get more shots up, but when you're just carelessly throwing it away, you wonder if that's really the formula for this particular team. It's going to be the formula for this team. Dusty May is not going to change it up the way that in the style he's recruited that way. That's the way that he wants to play. He's not going to, start taking the air out of the ball or anything. For better or worse, this is going to be it. This is what they're going to do when it comes down to it. They're going to fire a lot of threes. It's going to be some spray and pray, some 5 out at times, and that's the way it's going to go. Some things that stood out to me: Danny Wolf he's point center, and not just a guy that's standing out at the 3-point line and passing, but he was actually in the backcourt bringing it up against his opposite number. And he's, and not just once. You see, all right, hey, here's the 7-footer. He's going to bring it up. He did it a couple times. So you wonder if that's something that's going to continue for Michigan. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but Wolf has been one of those guys who's committed some needless turnovers. You think about fundamentally, you want to pass the ball with two hands. Wolf has done a little bit of this where he's held the ball out at the side and he's kind of throwing it. And some of those, you feel like watching it. It seems a little nonchalant when he does it. Of course, when he's turning it over that way and he's turns it over the most on the team, you wonder when they say, you hear all the time, they got to clean that up. Well, that would be, you're saying, how do you clean it up and value the basketball? Well, when Danny Wolf's holding the ball, away from his body and just flipping the ball, you say, hey, Danny, use two hands out there. And there comes a point where you don't want to take the creativity, and Wolf is an excellent passer. So it's something they're living with, they're working with. If it, the whole thing, and that would be my question, probably would be my question to Dusty May if I am at the news conference on Monday. At what point do you rein it in from creativity to sloppiness when it comes down to that? It'd be interesting to see what Coach May has to say when it comes down to that. Well, Michigan does have the 15 turnovers. They did not shoot well from 3-point range in this game. Overall, Michigan shot the ball from the floor. They were 44.6%, 27% from downtown, just 6 of 23. And you're going to want to do better than that in big-time games, 69.6% from the free throw line. You're also, you want to be clearly above 70%, closer to 80% if you're asking, what you're shooting for and what you want from the charity stripe and what you want from downtown. Both of those numbers you want to be better. That's for sure. Now, let's look at some of the overall numbers and see if anything stands out. Vlad Golden, through these 5 games, Vlad Golden had his best scoring night in the Maize and Blue, 12 points, 3 boards, and 1 assist. He's athletic. He's 7'1". I don't mean this as it's going to sound negative. I don't want it to. He plays more like he's 6'8", 6'9" in the post and 7'1". And he did it again tonight. He was down low and he just was going up for a layup and he missed it. If I'm on that coaching staff, that's another question for Dusty. Are you telling him to, when he's down there every time, attack the rim and dunk it? Or are you just saying, hey, that's his game. He likes to shoot layups down there. Does he need to take it stronger? I think that's a good question for Dusty when it comes to his big men. Got to say that Namari Burnett has been, you're either going with Trey Donaldson or you're talking about Namari Burnett, this Michigan backcourt, and what you've seen from them. These guys together, they have been, Burnett and Donaldson, really good. And you had 9 points from Namari and 13 from Trey Donaldson. Michigan was led by Roddy Gale Jr. It's his career high at Michigan so far in 5 games. Gale, heading into this year, the question was, who's going to be Michigan's leader? Who's going to be taking the big shots? Who's going to be taking when it's under 5 minutes? Who's going to be the alpha? All those kind of things. And the answer was coming back, Gale, and some Donaldsons. There wasn't many Burnetts there, but that's the 3-guard rotation. And good game from Gale. A lot of dunks for Gale Jr., 6 of 7 from the floor. How much you would say close to a perfect night for Roddy Gale Jr. 16 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 6 of 7 from the floor. Hit his only 3 and 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. And he also had a steal. So he would be the player of the game. You mentioned Danny Wolf. He did not have his best game. 6 points and 6 boards. Off the bench, Sam Walters, you automatically, if you're the scoreboard, if you're sitting there on the sideline, you're running the scoreboard, you almost got your finger held over the 3-point button and you're ready to hit it, or if you're keeping the official score, you're almost automatically going to write down that 3 when Walters has it and he's open. 3 of 6 from downtown. And it just, he's got a pure looking shot. If he's open and he gets the ball, you want him to throw it up, cast it up there, because he looks good when he has the ball in his hand. Justin Pippen scored his first points. The true freshman getting a bucket in the second game. He was hurt to start the year, coming back, and he got a little burn in there. And in 7 minutes of play, LJ Kason, you want more after what we saw in that second exhibition game of the first half from LJ, but tonight it just wasn't there for him. 1 point, 1 board, and he had a turnover. And his turnover is one of those that I think the coach ended up maybe giving him a little lesson on the bench, because it was one of those where they're just working it around the perimeter, and he kind of just, threw the pass and it was intercepted and it was taken the other way. Will Cheddar, let's just say it again. There's going to be nights where Will Cheddar scores 20, the crowd's going rollicking and going crazy, and there's going to be nights where he's closer to 0. Tonight he was 0 of 2. What am I going to say? You want more? Yeah, you can't be putting up those goose eggs. And then Fat and the rest, and Reuben Jones maybe a little bit of a surprise that he barely played in this game. Remember, he was hurt. And one thing you are doing in a game like this that you're pretty sure that you're going to win, you're trying to get this continuity. You're trying to get these guys to play the way you want. And so if you have some combinations out there that are working, there's going to be some guys that you'd say, hey, why wasn't Reuben Jones in there more? Why didn't you see LJ? Well, some of the things that they had going. And like when Pippen was in there, he was active. He looked good. He's earned a little bit of time. So those are the things, you'll settle in on that rotation a little bit more and who you want to have out there as these games move along and the season does as well. That's what you're able to do right now. Now, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule here for Michigan. Before I do that, this big day where Michigan gets Bryce Underwood to flip from LSU, and everybody, the mood in Ann Arbor and the mood for Michigan fans is predictably sky high. Everybody's feeling great. And over at the Maize and Blue Review, we're running a special, and it's a great special. And recruiting now, it's not just Bryce Underwood that he flips to Michigan, but now you've got all of these top wide receivers, and then you've got key defensive players, and that you need to surround Underwood. That's part of it. So, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound, you're in for 10 million, you're in for 20, 30 million. I don't know like that, but the word is that, and what I have seen, and it just follows logically, you get a guy like Underwood, you're going to make sure he's surrounded, and you're thinking championship on a day like today, and you can follow it all. And the deal today is $25 for 1 year, all year, for the Maize and Blue Review. Use promo code QBU25. QBU25. How about that? I almost feel like the promo code should be BU25. It kind of is. QBU25. How about that? Right there. $25 for your first year. Take advantage of that. We'd love to see you. Now let's check that upcoming schedule. It is brought to you by the Maize and Blue Reviews. Good afternoon, Michigan football and basketball show that you can hear 2 o'clock Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That means tomorrow we'll be here at 2 o'clock talking about Underwood and the home finale on Saturday. All right, Michigan basketball, they are up next, coming up this the 25th. They will be in action. That's Monday, and that is down in Fort Myers, Florida. Monday the 25th, 6 o'clock. It's on FS1. It's the Fort Myers tip-off. They've got 3 teams on one side, or 4 on one side, 4 on the other. Michigan will play the Hokies, Virginia Tech, on Monday, and then on Wednesday, they will either play, depending on whether they win or lose, and depending on how South Carolina and Xavier do, they'll match up with one of those teams, South Carolina or Xavier, on Wednesday, either at 6 if they lose to Virginia Tech, and then if they win at 8:30. That's what my guess is. Maybe it'll be the other way around, but those are the times, those are the teams, and that's what is going on for Michigan. If you missed it this week, they got all of their 3 players signed up in the early signing period. That is Oscar Goodman, Winters Grady, and then Trey McKinney from Flint, the highest rated. But this is a good start for Dusty May. And May said, not last Monday, but the Monday before, that Michigan's not done recruiting in this class. They'll be looking for more. So that's good news. Now, not Sharon Moore, but, you can understand. Maybe he'll bring Sharon Moore in, and with the magic touch that Sharon shows on the recruiting trail, maybe Dusty will ask him a few questions and see how all that NIL is going. But great day for Michigan. Great day to be a Michigan fan. Wolverine fans, understandably, are just beside themselves, overjoyed with getting the local prodigy to flip from LSU to U of M. I have to say myself that I am shocked. I was putting it at a huge long shot to get it done, and I compared it to winning the lotto. But Michigan's numbers come in, and they do. They hit the lottery. They hit the jackpot with Bryce Underwood. The Michigan basketball team moves to 4-1. They win the ball game tonight by 23 points over Tarleton State, and they'll be back in action on Monday. 72-49, that's the final. Thanks for watching. A reminder, we're here after every Michigan basketball game, and we'll talk with you tomorrow at 2. And if you're just listening or watching basketball, we'll talk with you on Monday after the Fort Myers tip-off down there in Florida. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.